So now that the Carolina Panthers do have Sam Darnold on their roster, are they better off than they were before? Is Teddy Bridgewater is Sam Darnold better than Teddy Bridgewater? That's a valid question to ask because Teddy Bridgewater was a game manager. He was injured for a bit. Christian McCaffrey was out. There's a lot of variables in the Panthers offense. But let's just talk about whether Sam Darnold is better than Teddy Bridgewater. Giaffe, you go first.
I mean, Sam Darnold hasn't shown that he's better than any quarterback, but I think he is. I think he has the potential to be, better than Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he wasn't great with the Jets, but we'll see what he can do. There's still a lot of questions about him, and there's still a good chance that he is complete garbage. But I still believe in Sam Darnold. I think that he will have a pretty good season next year, and yeah, you'll see what he can do. I mean, there's still too many questions up in the air.
And Kevin, are you buying into all this hype about the Panthers now that they have a new quarterback in Sam Darnold?
Yeah, no. I think this hype train should stop. I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is not going to work, but all these people who are saying I'm seeing this all over social media. People saying that now Sam Darnold's going to be in a new system. He's away from Adam Gase. This is going to solve all his problems. No, I mean, if you look at Sam Darnold's game, yes, he makes some good throws here and there, and everyone has now by now seen the throw he makes across his body. But you're an NFL quarterback, so I expect you to make that throw anyways. You can't just blame all of a quarterback's issue on the head coach. You just can't. It's not just one guy who's responsible for your development. It's not just one guy who's responsible for your decision making. And if you look at the games that Sam Darnold plays and some type of throws he makes, some of the decision making is just absolutely horrible. He's throwing right into the defender's hands. He's throwing right into triple coverage, right into multi coverage. It's not the coach who's making him do that. I think some people need to acknowledge that some of these issues are attributable to Sam Darnold himself. Now, he has a lot of weapons in Carolina with Robbie Anderson, with DJ Moore, with Christian McCaffrey. But look, Teddy Bridgewater himself wasn't that bad. So if we're going to talk about if Carolina is going to substantially improve, I don't think it's fair to say that they're going to be so much more amazing with Sam Darnold in comparison to Teddy Bridgewater. The only issue with Teddy was that he went 0-8 in clutch situations. When he was down, he could in close game situations. That was the biggest issue for the Panthers. But Teddy Bridgewater himself was not that bad. And if I'm not mistaken, Sam Darnold was, I believe, 34th out of 34 qualifying quarterbacks in PFF's ranking. Obviously, PFF has their own issues, but still, I think that's a valid reference point. And if you look at Joe Flacco's stats with the Jets, Joe Flacco outplayed Sam Darnold with the same head coach, with the same offensive weapons, with the same offensive system. Joe Flacco. So, I mean, and he had Adam Gase coaching him. So I think that's a lot to say about Sam Darnold. I hope Sam Darnold improves because I like to see people succeed, but people need to slow down on the hype with Sam Darnold. I think it's too early to say whether or not he's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. I think that, there's still a lot of issues that Donald needs to improve on. But I think Joe Brady and Matt Rule can help him with, becoming a better quarterback. I think they can help sort some of his accuracy issues. I think they can help sort some of his decision-making issues. And I think I really don't think that Bridgewater was a good quarterback last year. He was horrible. He was average at best. Kyle Allen 2 years ago did better than Bridgewater did, and the main difference between Bridgewater and Sam Darnold was that Bridgewater had great weapons. He had a decent offensive line. He had Christian. I mean, he didn't have Christian McCaffrey, but he had DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. He had Robbie Anderson, and he was still subpar at best. But now, if you look at Darnold, he had no one. He was running for his life most of the time, and now he's got a decent team. I think Darnold will improve for sure. And I don't think that Bridgewater is a great quarterback.
And I don't disagree that on the Darnold point. I definitely don't think he will not improve because how can you not improve with a better offensive line, with better offensive system, with better offensive weapons? But to say that he's going to be substantially better, I think still is not fair to say. And also, a lot of people were comparing Sam Darnold to Ryan Tannehill's situation with Adam Gase and the Miami Dolphins. But may I remind the audience that Ryan Tannehill had a partial ACL tear. He had shoulder issues. So again, you can't attribute all of Ryan Tannehill's issues in Miami to Adam Gase. I don't think they're fair comparisons to make. And also Ryan Tannehill substantially improved in Tennessee. And a lot of that goes to Derrick Henry. Having such a dominant run game can make a quarterback's life so much easier. And obviously, Christian McCaffrey is a dynamic running back, but he's not the type of running back Derrick Henry is, where you dominate via the run game, which offers you a lot of play action potential. So, I still need to see more. I hope Sam Darnold improves. And I want to see Teddy Bridgewater actually get a chance with a team, maybe the New England Patriots, maybe the Denver Broncos. Because I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is a horrible quarterback, like you said. I still think he has a lot of potential. We saw him under the Saints system. He just needs the right system. And I don't even think a lot of his issues are attributable to him himself. I mean, he had a lot of injury issues as well. Remember, he's coming off a vicious injury, and he's never looked like himself the past few years. So the fact that he's even on the NFL field is a predicament to his work ethic and also his ability as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I'd say Teddy Bridgewater was a pretty solid game manager, and that's what we know him to be. Even though he didn't necessarily perform like in terms of results in Carolina, he definitely like was moving the ball down the field. It wasn't like the offense was completely stagnant. It wasn't like the offense was the Jets offense, especially. So Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, I agree with that point. And then Sam Darnold, going back to Sam Darnold, he does have a good situation in Carolina. We'll see if he can make the most of it. I think he needs to rely on Christian McCaffrey and rely on his weapons, and definitely rely on his coaching. I don't think he'll be asked to do too much in Carolina.
Yeah, and just as a conclusion to this, I'm looking at this trade. I'm looking at the financials of the trade, and this is where I think, especially, it kind of reinforces the fact that there's no loser in this trade, because it really costs the teams nothing. Like the Jets, I think they're taking like $6 million dead cap hit, and the Panthers, they're paying very cheap money for a quarterback project. They get to evaluate Sam Darnold for the next 2 years. If he doesn't work out, then they can go to the draft again. But I think they're only paying him $5 million, $6 million for 1 year, and then $18 million the second year. That's pretty cheap for an NFL starting quarterback. So I think this is a project for Joe Brady, and obviously Brady and Rule saw something in Darnold to pull the trigger.
And another thing to note, Sam Darnold is young, right? In the division, you got Tom Brady. Drew Brees just retired, question mark for Saints at quarterback, possibly. And then Matt Ryan is also getting old, getting in his later years of his career. So I guess from that perspective, the Panthers do have the highest long-term potential at quarterback. So that must be another factor when they made that move. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, the M2M Network, for more sports and entertainment content.